So you guys know me, I always talk about the most confirmed, the most and best leaks from the best reporters in the whole entire world is what I'm trying to say, right? And as most of you guys know, Daniel RPK happens to be one of those guys with a succession rate of like 65%. Again, there is a report coming out here from Daniel RPK. I haven't been able to find this over the internet too much of him saying it, but there is a page or two that have said he did. So again, I just like to preface by saying I am yet to find him saying it, but there are pages claiming he did. Whether or not, it sounds pretty cool, and I would really like to talk about it with you guys. Again, it is being reported and said that the Armor Wars movie has actually been cancelled for a green light to Iron Man 4. Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, and Ty Simpkin would now start. Launch scheduled for early 2026. Again, I also actually kind of believe this, and I think this would genuinely make a ton of sense for them to go out and do. First of all, we know Marvel right now is taking a massive step back to focus on their most important characters. After the Agatha show, because again, that was put into production and stuff way before these decisions were made, we can see now that the only projects like coming out for Marvel are projects that they seem to know will have people actually wanting to go and watch them. We have the Fantastic Four movie, which is coming out in 2025. We've got Captain America Brave New World, which will be coming out a couple months before Fantastic Four, which sounds really interesting. Again, is based off one of the biggest Marvel characters of all time. We've got the Thunderbolts movie, which comes out in between both of these, that even though specifically doesn't have one big name character, it's got a ton of really awesome characters in there, like Bucky Barnes, as well as the fact that Marvel know a good and well-written team-up movie that potentially has good action and good comedy is always going to be successful for them, so they know that's going to do well. In 2026, they've got Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, which is coming out a little bit later in 2027, which we know were announced. Again, Spider-Man 4 is supposed to come out reportedly, in the between those movies, and there's also rumors a Doctor Strange movie is going to come out in between them as well. So realistically, 99% of the things I just talked about right there is big name characters and big name projects. The reality is Marvel know they need to focus on their future films now, using these big names and using characters that people actually want to see. And look, if they're going to experiment and risk take with a movie like the Thunderbolts, they can only be out here doing that every now and then, like they used to do with movies such as Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. They can't be going out here and risking with every project like they were doing in Phase 4 and early Phase 5 with shit like She-Hulk. No one wants to see that, like no one at all. So again, having this Armor Wars movie and most likely the plot of it now being carried over to what looks to be like an Iron Man 4, and having Tyrone Simpkins probably play Iron Lad, aka the new Iron Man. Again, the little boy from Iron Man 3, and he was also in the funeral scene, of course, in Avengers Endgame. Having him come in to be the new Iron Man, I think a lot of fans would actually like that. Again, I don't know how successful it would be, but also in saying that, if they really wanted to, if Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom was so successful and everyone loved it, there's no reason they couldn't just be like, well, there's another Iron Man from a different universe who is now come in and is living in this MCU universe that we all know to be. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play him because he loves getting paid $50 million per movie, and we're going to do Iron Man 4. I think every fan would absolutely love that, and it would make me want to touch myself inappropriately, I'm not going to lie. Again, I think it was a massive shame we never got an Iron Man 4 and future movies. So if Robert Downey Jr. really wants to come back and do it, again, I don't see why not. If you're being like, well, doesn't it affect Iron Man's death at the end of Avengers Endgame? look, that's kind of been thrown out the window anyway with all these characters coming back and Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom again. Literally, who gives a fuck anymore? I just want to see Iron Man 4, whatever. I don't care. I kind of low-key feel bad for Don Cheadle, though, who kind of thought, well, look, I was finally going to get my solo movie, and then Marvel just telling him, look, not enough people care about your character, so we're going to introduce an Iron Lad, who's going to be the new Iron Man, and if people like Robert Downey Jr. and us as Doctor Doom, there's a chance we bring him back as Iron Man as well. But don't worry, he'll still be a supporting character in this movie, and Don Cheadle will just be sitting there like, what the fuck? It's going to be really awesome to see if this is true, the future MCU movies after Secret Wars, because we know we're going to get a Fantastic Four 2, we'll get a Spider-Man 5, most likely. Outside of that, we have no idea what they're going to do. I'm going to assume that Iron Man 4 is maybe on the projects of movies they could do. I think obviously the X-Men movie coming up will happen. They'll probably make a couple of them. They'll probably make a couple new Wolverine movies. Again, we saw recently reported a Wolverine vs. Hulk movie might be in development. I think a World War Hulk movie that was also recently reported as well could eventually come. So definitely a ton more Hulk content I think we're definitely going to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like an Avengers vs. X-Men movie and just a ton of more X-Men projects. Probably like a Gambit film. Wouldn't be surprised. Probably a Deadpool 4 film. Wouldn't be surprised. And maybe a Guardians of the Galaxy, some type of project. Again, rumors has it the legendary Star-Lord could be a project that happens. If Chris Pratt runs out of animated characters to voice act, maybe he goes and jumps into doing that. I don't know. They teased that at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, I don't know what they're going to do. And then probably in 20 years, I'm assuming James Gunn and Kevin Feige will cook up an eventual Avengers vs. Justice League movie, which, holy shit, that will make me want to touch myself inappropriately, let's be honest here. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest gaming content, movie content, all of the news and whatnot, all that type of stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to my IRL Psyched for Long channel and my sports channel and this channel, obviously. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.